Hello and welcome to the British Gaming Podcast. It is the 18th of May 2016. I'm Sam. With me today is Terry.
Howdy.
And Richie is absent.
Again. We miss
again.
you.
Richie, you're going to get cut out soon.
A bit extreme.
Speed it along. So, topic list. What we've been playing. Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 got announced. A Batman Arkham Remastered Collection also got announced. Another announcement with Battlefield 1. The Steam Summer Sales list has been... Not list, the date has been leaked. I wish we had the list. That would be awesome.
Yeah, me too.
I could start planning now. The Final Fantasy X 10-2 Remaster has come to Steam, so that ties in. That'll probably be a segue there. We're going to take a look at PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live's Games with Gold. Good God, that's a mouthful. Offerings for the month. We've got our fan questions, which I hope Terry has loaded. If not, you may hear him start typing around about now. And then my question of the whenever the hell we do these now. That sound about right? Have I missed anything?
Nope, I think that's about right, and I'm totally not looking for the questions, honest.
No, not at all. While you're totally not looking for the questions, let's divide your attention and see if you can multitask. What games have you been playing this week?
This week, well, I got the Final Fantasy X 10-2 Remaster.
Which we're going to talk about,
beautiful. Yeah. I don't know how it compares to the PS3 version. I've talked to people who have played the PS3 version and the PS4 version and this version, and apparently the PS4 version looks a little bit better, and this one looks about the same as the PS4 version, so there's that. There's also this new arranged soundtrack that they've added to it as well, which, I don't know, like, you can sort of switch back and forth on the fly between the two, so that's been quite an interesting experience, because, you know me, I'm all
like Halo Anniversary, where you can switch between the old and new graphics on the fly.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. That's a perfect example. And
it's almost like I knew you were going to mention
it. Yeah. Other than that, I picked up Wind Waker HD for the Wii U. I've never actually finished a Zelda game. Recently,
what?
Yeah, I know.
Hang on, hold the fucking phone. What?
Yep.
Hand in your podcast card. Hand it over now.
Well,
we're in separate physical locations, but if everybody could pretend that I'm taking his membership card away from him right now, that would be great.
The thing is, there was a lot of big Nintendo stuff I missed out on over the years. Like in the 90s, I never had a Super Nintendo.
Okay, granted, that was everybody in Europe. Everyone had a Mega Drive / Genesis instead of a SNES, so that's fine.
Exactly. So I didn't play Link to the Past, and N64, well, I had a PS1 throughout most of that generation. Got an N64 near the end, but all I really used that for was Pokemon Stadium tournaments at my house.
You see, I thought most kids I knew had both.
Nah, most of the people I knew around where I lived was just PS1. Like, I didn't really know anyone who had an N64. I was like the one person who had one, and even then it was really late. And at that point, like, we had a cheat cartridge for our PS1 where it allowed, and a spring, so it allowed us to play backed up versions, which were a hell of a lot cheaper than the expensive £50 N64 cartridges. So yeah, that's
totally not shady. Backups of games.
Exactly. So that's blatantly why we got more use out of the PS1.
See, my school, GoldenEye, WrestleMania 2000, and then oddly enough, Pokemon Snap. Those three games sort of cemented the N64 as every kid has to have one.
See, the WWE game we were all playing was the SmackDown ones.
Yeah.
And at one point, Attitude, which was freaking terrible, but hey.
Oh God, that was,
yeah. Yeah. And at one point when I had a Dreamcast briefly, there was ECW Hardcore Revolution, which I ended up putting absolutely hours into, because long story short, we moved house, and out of all the boxes, all I could find was the TV, the Dreamcast console, and that one game. So I was playing the hell out of that one game until
all you could find was the TV. The TV's pretty fucking big. You know, you can't exactly miss it. This was in CRT days, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Well,
how do you misplace the CRT?
Exactly. Hence why we didn't. Hence why we found it.
Well, no. So no Ocarina of Time.
No, no Majora's Mask. No Link to the Past. Definitely no NES ones.
Well, hang on. No. Oh, the NES ones. I think there's very few who can legitimately say. At least in the UK. In the US, fine, whatever. But in the UK, yeah, fucking NESs were unheard of. I'm gonna get shit for saying that. People will be like, no, you could get them. In fact, there were two versions. There was one by, I think it was Mattel or someone, but nobody gave a shit about the NES in the UK, I'm sorry.
It's true.
Everyone was either on the Atari 2600 or the Sega Master System, and then from that, straight to the Mega Drive. The kid who had a Super Nintendo was the weird kid, you know?
Yeah. I don't know, there was a surprising number of people that had the ZX Spectrum around the NES time.
Yeah, true.
That was super big over here in the UK.
But so were things like the Amiga and the Commodore 64 and a bunch of other things that never really took off in the US, from my understanding.
Yeah, exactly.
If I talk about the Dizzy games from Codemasters to any of my US friends, like, the fuck is Dizzy? Like, egg! Little red gloves! Fucking awesome!
Yeah.
No, straight over their heads. Every time I share one of Guru Larry's videos about UK gaming trivia, they're just like, the fuck is this guy on about?
That's the thing. That's the thing. Over here in like all of Europe, really, I think this applies to. We had a lot of like random quirky things that Americans just didn't get. I mean, like I don't like one thing which I won't go too much into detail about. Well, none at all really. Is demo scene. If you look that up, I don't think that's really taken off in America, but has a big following over in Europe.
Oh, is that sort of like the Net Euros PlayStation developer kit, and people would program their own little PlayStation games on the Net Euros version of the console, which is like 500 goddamn quid now for one of those.
What you're talking about?
And then those
may
games
have gone
would get distributed.
By the same name, but what I'm bringing up isn't actually that, but it might have gone by the same name.
All right, just to finish off for those who didn't know what I was on about and were interested. They would program these games on the Net Euros version of the PlayStation console, and then those little games would be distributed on the demo discs of the official PlayStation magazine in the UK. It was kind of cool.
I remember those. Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Yeah,
I spent ages playing those.
I mean, talk about obscure games, right? When people are just like, you want to play something obscure, and they go and get a fucking demo disc.
Yeah.
You're like, oh shit, I know where this is going.
Well, I'll briefly say about demo scene. So, like, basically, with all the old, like, Spectrums, Ataris, Amigas and stuff, there was circulated pirated games. And a lot of the people that coded the pirated versions, they put their own little logo on at the start. And doing all the kind of computer artwork and coding for all the logos and stuff kind of took off and got its own form to the point where people were making all this kind of computer graphic stuff that just looked cool as an art form, like just standalone. So it's kind of a whole scene dedicated around that, and it sounds super nerdy.
So this is like the origin of ASCII art.
I guess. Wait,
Yeah.
ASCII art?
ASCII art, when you make pictures out of just letters in Notepad.
No.
If you go on like any early 2000s game FAQs walkthrough, they've done like the fucking game's logo just in ASCII every time.
I know what you're talking about, but this is definitely not that at all.
Okay, this is better than that.
Yeah, so like there's a bunch of demo scene videos on YouTube. Like if you put that in as a search term and like demo
after listening to this,
after this, stay with us because we're awesome. then you'll get what I mean.
Okay, fair enough.
Anyway, I was talking about games we're playing.
Yeah, I did have a question as well on the Zeldas.
Zelda.
You said you never played them, and that's fair enough. But as you were going through your list, I was like, I thought even if people miss the N64 ones, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, even if you didn't get those for whatever reason, everybody had a Game Boy Advance, and they brought out tons on that thing. I mean, A Link to the Past came back out. They re-released the original NES Zelda on it. You had Minish Cap. Link's Awakening DX on the Game Boy Color, and everybody had a Game Boy Color. So I don't see how you missed like that little group of Zeldas.
I don't know. The hype just didn't attract me with those because, I mean, I was just thinking, well, they're not the big hyped console ones that everyone seems to go nuts for. So is it really all that? Like, there are other games I was just interested in. I mean, I think the closest to anything Zelda based that I played on Game Boy Advance, and you're probably going to guess this right now in your mind before I say it, Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku 2.
Yeah! And finding a copy of Boo's Fury in the UK was fucking impossible. Legacy of Goku 1, bought it. Legacy of Goku 2, bought it.
Yeah.
Boost Fury came out. The video game stores did not know what I was asking for. Like, they couldn't even... Like, they were checking, their suppliers list or whatever on their computers. They couldn't even order it in. People weren't even listing it for distribution.
Yeah. I can't... Yeah, I think I had a similar issue trying to get that at the time as well. But then again, at that point, I was in Norwich as well, so...
The only time I saw it for sale, and I wish I'd have bought it, because I saw it once and never again, was... you remember when One Step Beyond was an actual shop near Gerald's and wasn't a market stall?
Vaguely. I got to go to that shop like twice before it transitioned.
Okay, well, it was a store before it was a market stall, and... they had it at the front in their glass cabinet, a US import copy of Boo's Fury. God. And I was just like, I'm going to put some money aside. And because obviously I was still a teenager at the time.
Yeah.
I wasn't like, hey, I've got a salary or anything. It was like, hey, I'm going to beg my parents.
Yeah.
And like, you get... Those were the days where your mum would pay you 50p to make a cup of coffee, Gonna make a cup of coffee.
So you made a fuckload of coffee.
Yeah. Great. And, by the time I went back, their one import copy was long gone. So I found other means of playing it, but I would still like to own it.
Yeah, I regret selling my copies of the Legacy of Goku games. I really wish I could get them back. Like, they were still boxed as well.
Well, you can. It's just going to cost you.
Yeah, plus
it's a shame I have to talk about what I've been playing, because this would be a great segue to Xenoverse otherwise.
Yeah, anyway, Zelda, yeah. Wind Waker, at that point I was just kind of like, well, everyone's bashing this game for the cell shader stuff, and so I'm just like, well, again, those other games I wanted more at the time, so, yeah.
You see, both Wind Waker and Twilight Princess I've never played because I had a choice between a GameCube and a PlayStation 2, and I went PlayStation 2. And I never really went back to Nintendo consoles. Like, I didn't get a GameCube until much, much later. I've got one now.
Yeah.
In fact, I've got a copy of Wind Waker now. Because Joanna's aunt, her son just left a bunch of video games at hers, and she was like, well, he's never going to pick these up or do anything with them. Your other half likes video games. Here you go. And just gave them.
Oh, man, you lucky sod.
Yeah, I'm trying... Because I've got the GameCube here. I've got the controllers. I'm missing... I think I'm missing the power. So I need to go on eBay and just get a power cable. And it's like that one thing that you just never get around to doing. But there's a box at the back of the attic room with the stuff she brought round, and Sonic Adventure 2 Battle is in there, Wind Waker's in there. I'm trying to think what else was in there. There was a bunch of PS2 games in there as well.
Damn.
That's where, I gave you Sonic Riders because I ended up with a duplicate.
That's
where that came from.
Huh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me know if you find any more duplicates.
Yeah, I think, I know I've got a Tony Hawk's 3 duplicate now because of that.
Ooh, yeah, please.
Yeah? Okay, I'll see if I can find that. It's in... I put all the duplicates away in a box somewhere, so I'll find the box before I come down in a week's time, and... Yeah, I'm actually seeing this guy in a week.
Hey.
Face to face. I'm seeing Richie face to face at the same time. Maybe we'll record something. Probably not, but maybe.
I'll have my secret recorder. It'll be fine. No, I don't have a secret recorder. That'd be weird.
I wouldn't put it past you. I really wouldn't. It wouldn't surprise me. I'd just be like, yeah, that's true.
To be fair, I do actually have a dictaphone. I was given one for lectures and stuff, but I don't think I've ever used it.
Right, okay. So what else have you been playing this week? We're way off track already.
We really have.
Yeah, let's bring it back.
um, I've been playing Just Cause 3 for about 50 hours now, and I'm still at the halfway point just because I'm trying to get everything on it. That game's stupid addictive.
Jesus.
I won't go on more about that because I've said everything I want to say last time about that game, I think.
Yeah, you've professed your love for it a number of times.
Yeah, I'm freaking
Yeah.
marrying it. Like, I'm picturing it in a white dress and everything.
Okay. Moving on.
And I've been playing the Shantae games a little bit as well. There's Risky's Revenge that was on a Humble Bundle recently for Steam. I nabbed that. That was originally a DSiWare game, which is weird.
Yeah, that's a weird one. The first Shantae was like a late Game Boy Color game, didn't sell that well.
Yeah.
They couldn't do a physical run because it's Way Forward who makes it.
Yeah.
So they did it as DSiWare for download. It was DSiWare. I mean, I don't know who actually upgraded from a DS Lite to a DSi, you know? It was a small install base in the first place.
I mean, I think the most sales from DSiWare is probably the fact you can get all on 3DS.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Weirdly, like on 3DS, there's two versions of Cave Story. There's a full remake, Cave Story 3D, which frankly looks like ass, and it plays like ass. Like the camera angles just make everything hard to see. Yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also an eStore version, which is basically like the original version, but with obviously an official translation as opposed to the fan one that was online, because obviously they can't sell that. And so it actually has 3D support, but that 3D mode just kind of hurts my eyes, so I don't use that. But other than that, it's a really nice port of it, and as I've said before, I like Cave Story, so I've been replaying that a bit.
Other than all these horrible, terrible, game-breaking flaws.
Game-breaking flaws?
Well, like the 3D hurting your eyes and shit. You know, it's...
Well, yeah, that one thing. That's why I turned off the 3D. That's an issue I have with most 3DS games, with the 3D option. I don't really get the appeal.
Yeah, 3D just flat out doesn't work for me to begin with.
Yeah, that's the thing. With gimmicks like that, when it splits the install base, it's just like, nah, go away, mate.
The thing is, I always have it off, and for new listeners to the show, my left eye is technically underdeveloped. So the way 3D works, as it sends, on the 3DS at least, is you're meant to see one set of pixels with the right eye and one set of pixels with the left eye, and that creates the illusion of depth. So I'm getting one set of pixels to my right eye, that's it. If I turn the 3D on, I just get a ghosted image on the screen. It's really horrible. And that's fine. Most games you can just turn the 3D off and be on your way. But Super Mario 3D Land has some stages, sort of isometric view stages, and they're purposefully set up to be optical illusions, so that really you have to turn the 3D on to be able to tell where Mario is. Those levels were entirely guesswork for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, if I remember correctly, I managed to get through those without turning the 3D on, so... Like, you know, I don't think I was ever tempted to turn it back on.
Okay. They were a nightmare for me, that's all I'm going to say, honestly.
Fair play.
That's the reason I don't go see 3D movies and stuff. Shit just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, see, for me, I just don't like 3D at all. Like, I saw, going back a little bit, the last 3D film I ever saw, and it will be the last probably, is Star Trek Into Darkness. Like, because of the 3D, you could see the green screening, like, it was, you know, you could...
It looked tacky.
It was really, really tacky. You can see the special effects, like, how they're done, like... And it's not because I'm a film student that I was just like, oh, I see how they're doing that and doing that, because I've not worked with CGI, I'm not that freaking good. But
you're really not.
No.
No.
Thanks, man.
Anytime. Right, well...
finally, final games. Ratchet & Clank HD Trilogy and...
Finally!
Trilogy.
Ratchet & Clank, it's about damn time.
Yeah, probably about damn time with the Jack Trilogy too.
Oh, fuck the Jack Trilogy. The first game is amazing. 2 and 3 can suck a fat cock.
See, I've heard conflicting views, and I'm going to give Naughty Dog the benefit of the doubt.
Jak and Daxter: The Precursor Legacy is an amazing platformer, and I love that game. I've 100%ed it on PS2, PS3, and I'm running through it again right now on Vita. Jak 2 and 3 are shite. And I'm going to get a lot of flack for saying that because there are a lot of people who really love Jak 2 and 3. They fucking suck. On the other hand, the entirety of the original Ratchet and Clank trilogy is solid fucking gold. You'll enjoy those.
That's fair. Oh, they're actually on sale at the moment on PlayStation Store for a tenner for the whole trilogy, so anyone who's interested...
Not anymore, that sale ended.
Has it?
Yeah.
Bloody hell, that was only 2 nights ago I got it.
Yeah, they flick over. I'm trying to remember the dates. It's either Tuesdays or Wednesdays that the stuff on the PlayStation Store changes, so you must have got it on pretty much the last day.
Oh, that was lucky. Oh, yeah. Another thing as well is I've got cross-buy on it, so if for whatever reason I ever decide to get a Vita, I've already got those 3 games for it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Apparently, number 3 doesn't run very well on Vita. I've been told, so be wary of that. It runs fine on the PS3, I can vouch for that. I've played it on the PS3, but yeah I've had reports, second-hand reports.
See, with the Vita, I'd be tempted to get it, A, if I could find one for 50 quid, because that's all I'm willing to spend on it, and B, if it's hacked so that I can like store all my games onto a memory card, like all the ones I buy physical copies of, and C, if there was some way I could like get an adapter for a micro SD card to adapt to like the proprietary bullshit memory card, because there is no way I'm paying like 15 quid for 8 gigabytes or however much it is.
Then you're never getting a Vita.
Yeah.
Those conditions will never all be ticked.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I fucking hate proprietary bullshit like that. Like, just give it micro SD support if you're going to do another handheld Sony, but to be honest, don't bother.
Okay. We're not biased on this show.
Yeah.
In any way,
oh no, that's the thing. Like with my PSP, like the Memory Stick Pro Duo, the biggest you could get was like 8 gig, and that would probably cost you like 100 quid or something like that. But I got a micro SD card adapter for it. Got a 32 gig micro SD card for like a $5 or something. Sorted.
All right. Well, we've been on what games you've been playing for, I think, 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, let's do yours.
Yeah, in the interest of time, my list is considerably shorter. I've been playing Spyro 2 for the Let's Play that I'm doing on that. Plug. I've recorded up to Part 12. I have been too lazy to upload up to Part 12, so there has not been a new video in a few days, and that is my fault. Slap myself on the wrist. Bad.
Wow, you care about your fan base a lot, huh?
I don't have a fan base. That channel has 35 subscribers.
You're not going to get one with that attitude.
It's got 35 subscribers, about 9 views per video. In fact, there is such a lack of a fan base that the only channel-level comment that's on there at the moment is telling me to quit Let's Plays because I have so few views.
Oh, wow. Somebody's criticised your videos. What a dickish thing to do, huh?
No, someone's... Very funny. Someone's literally posted a comment saying, when are you going to go back to concentrating on your main channel and doing things like remade, repackaged, rebooted, video game comics, so on and so forth? Your Let's Plays get, like, no views and nobody cares about them, so just give up on them. It's pretty much the comment verbatim. He even starts with, I'm not trying to be a dick, but... Like, for someone who's not trying.
Yeah. The thing is, whenever someone starts a sentence like that, like, I'm not trying to X, but, that means that they're normally going to do that. It's like the old, I'm not racist, but...
Ah, you beat me to it. I was looking for a gap to get the I'm not racist in, and you fucking beat me to it. I'm not gay, but...
Apart from I'm not being funny, but, because they're never being funny.
Yeah. No. Where were we?
Game.
So Spyro 2.
Yeah.
I've finished playing the Ratchet and Clank remake, reboot, whatever you want to call it. That didn't take me long. I can't remember if I mentioned that game on the last podcast.
Possibly. I don't know. But yeah, no, I remember you saying that you did like 3 playthroughs in a weekend and platinumed it.
No, 2 playthroughs. So
last time I spoke to you, talking about doing your third.
Yeah, I want to do a third so I can record footage to then do a remade, repackaged, rebooted episode on it.
Oh yeah. Oh,
But I'm cripplingly lazy, so I haven't done that yet.
briefly, while we're on the subject of Ratchet and Clank, like how was the movie?
Awesome. Absolutely awesome. I took my daughter, Maya. It was her first time to the cinema. So we went there, and we get to the movie theatre, and there's 3 screens for
What?
Civil War. 3 screens for Civil War. Tons of people there to see Civil War. So we get in the queue, and like we've already got the kids pack, which is like they get a kid-sized popcorn and a fruit shoot and various bits. Then we get to the counter, and this woman's so tired, and she looks like she's already punching in 2 tickets for Civil War. Her face when I asked for Ratchet and Clank. So yeah, it was double take. It was like, Ratchet and Clank! And she looks at me, she looks down at my daughter, and she's like, oh, that explains it. And I'm thinking, woman, I would be here for Ratchet and Clank with or without the child.
Yeah, I know some other people. I think they said that they've seen it or they're planning to go see it. They've got that Odeon Limitless thing, which has really been tempting
so you may as
me.
well.
Hey,
At that point, you may as well.
exactly. Like they've been seeing so many like random films they just wouldn't ever like typically pay to see. I mean, I know they're technically paying for it with the Limitless, but you know what I mean.
All right, let's get back on track anyway.
Just a quick thing. I saw Civil War. It's amazing, and it's tied with Guardians of the Galaxy for my favorite Marvel film. Like those two are neck and neck.
Well, I haven't seen it yet.
That's why I'm not
So
giving
I'm not
you
going
any
to talk about it
spoilers.
until I've seen it.
That's why I'm not giving you any spoilers.
All right. So anyway, we go into the theatre. It's in the smallest screen in the whole place. Like there are maybe 40 seats. When the movie started, there were 12 people sat down, right?
Wow.
Those 12 people were me, my 3-year-old daughter, a woman with 4 kids who looked like she'd just stumbled in off the council estate, and then you had all the other people in the room. So what are we on, 6? So the other 6 people, there was 2 groups, all in sort of their late 20s to mid-30s, wearing Ratchet and Clank t-shirts they'd clearly gotten off TeePublic or what are the other sites? Redbubble or one of those kind of sites, you know? Fan-made Ratchet and Clank t-shirts, beards. 12 people total. The first showing on the Saturday it opened. 12 people. And it just opened alongside Civil War. It never had a chance.
In an
Great
alternate
movie.
reality, you were with that group.
Great movie. The game is fantastic. It's one of the most beautiful things I've played on the PS4. It's a really strong exclusive title. It's shorter than most Ratchet and Clank games, but a lot of Ratchet and Clank games sort of, when they feel like they should be wrapping up, you find out you're actually halfway through. Sometimes they're in danger of overstaying their welcome. So actually, it's a shorter Ratchet and Clank game, but it's the right length. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I was satisfied. It was, just about when I was done, it went and wrapped up, which was perfect. So I did a normal playthrough. I did a New Game Plus playthrough, or challenge mode as the game calls it.
Yeah.
Unlocked all of the weapons, all of the upgrades, unlocked the Platinum Trophy for it, and I consumed that game within... I picked it up on my lunch break on the Friday at work.
Yeah.
And then used some hours that I'd built up on flexi time to leave early. Just to get home and play it. Then remembered I had kids, so they needed to be fed and put to bed, so that was annoying. Because it delayed me playing the game.
Yeah, feeding
I'm a
children
great
is
parent.
annoying.
So we put them to bed. So Friday evening played it. Saturday, the other half went out for the day. She took the kids with her, so I just played it all Saturday. Sunday, I had the kids, so I didn't play it during the day much.
Yeah,
spurts.
I remember. Like this guy was messaging me, being all, "I want to play it. I want to play it. When's she getting back? I want to play it."
Yeah, when's she getting home so I can play my video game? I'm an adult. And then I ran through challenge mode in, the remainder of Sunday I finished up challenge mode. and just polished off the trophies I had outstanding. I did that all incredibly quickly, but I absolutely adore Ratchet and Clank games, except for All for One. All for One can go fuck itself.
Yeah, fair.
Q-Force was a bit of a disappointment too.
Is that the one that was too short?
No, let's see. Q-Force is 5 maps, and while it's classic Ratchet and Clank gameplay, it acts as a tower defense game. So you've got like a home base on the map, and waves of enemies spawn, and you've got to stop the enemies from destroying power pylons back at your base. It's like Ratchet and Clank gameplay mixed with tower defense, with like the League of Legends pillars that you have to destroy, whatever they are. I don't play MOBAs.
Okay. Another quick question. Ratchet Gladiator, what the hell is that?
Ratchet Gladiator is when Ratchet tried to get all Jack 2 and be dark and serious. It didn't work very well.
Is that still like a classic Ratchet and Clank style thing? Gameplay?
It's classic Ratchet and Clank style gameplay, but it focuses very heavily on the guns. You don't have Clank strapped to your back, so the platforming is almost completely gone.
Okay.
It's almost like if they made an entire game out of the arena planets from the other games.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, so if you're playing Ratchet and Clank 1, I don't think there was an arena in the first game. I think the first game with an arena is Ratchet and Clank 2. But once you get to the Ratchet and Clank 2 arena, imagine a whole game made up of challenges like that, and you've essentially got Ratchet Gladiator.
No, I didn't get Ratchet Gladiator. It's just like I spotted
No, not as in you've bought it. I said if you played that one arena level in Ratchet and Clank 2, you've essentially played Ratchet Gladiator.
Fair enough.
Yeah, right. You're with me.
Yeah, cool. No, I was just wondering whether it was worth going back to CEX tomorrow to see if they still got that copy of Ratchet Gladiator in stock.
We actually got it as an apology on PSN.
Did you?
Yeah, so when Ratchet and Clank Q-Force came out, it was supposed to launch at the same time as the PlayStation Vita version, and one of the selling points was that...
cross-buy?
Yeah, it was cross-buy. So you put in the disc, and the disc would then activate your license for the Vita version for a free download. The problem was the Vita version got delayed, then it got delayed again, then it got delayed for a third time, and when it finally came out, it was really poorly optimized, and they may as well have not bothered, is the short version. So to say sorry for that, when they first delayed it, they gave us one of the MotorStorm games. I think it was the MotorStorm ATV game. Someone's probably going to correct me on that. And then when they finally released it on Vita, and it was a disappointing port to say the least, they gave us Ratchet Gladiator as sort of a second apology. So I paid $15.99 because it was a budget release. When they first released it, it was only 16 quid. So for 16 quid, I got the PS3 version, the Vita version, MotorStorm ATV, and Ratchet Gladiator on PSN.
Okay.
And Ratchet Gladiator probably has more content than Q-Force. So yeah, avoid All for One and Q-Force. Get the original trilogy. Even the PSP spin-offs are pretty good. Ratchet and Clank Size Matters is pretty decent.
Well, that's Secret Agent Clank.
It's okay. It is a game of just Clank sections. And those are obviously a different pace altogether. I like them when they're interspersed between Ratchet sections, but a whole game of it, I have to put it down and come back.
Yeah, you know? There's a similar kind of scenario. Basically, on Super Mario 3D World, there's these Toad Treasure Tracker levels, and then they released a full game of that, and it's just like, I enjoyed those levels, but not sure if it was enough to get Toad's Treasure Tracker standalone. Okay,
it sounds like it's a very similar deal.
Yeah,
Secret Agent Clank, you play it in bits, which is fine because it was a portable game. You know, you couldn't marathon it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other games I can sit and do in one session quite happily. Not because they're short games, but because once I'm in, I am fucking in on a Ratchet and Clank game. Most things Insomniac do are pure gold for me. But,
apart from the Resistance games.
Yeah, I just couldn't get into them.
Yeah. I had a couple of plays on Resistance 2 online, and that was fun, but that was about it.
Yeah, I was trying to co-op it with my uni housemate way back, and I ended up saying to him, I'll be honest, I got bored about 2 levels ago, and he replied with, oh, thank God, me too, but I was hoping you'd say something first. And we turned it off. That was it. We just never played it again. So yeah, Ratchet and Clank, and then I've been going back to the original game, the HD version of it, and recording footage for Remade, Repackaged, Rebooted. And it's weird actually playing the new version and the original back-to-back, because some of the planets are almost point for point the same, just a lot shinier and prettier in the new one.
Yeah.
So, where does that leave me? I've been playing the PlayStation Plus games. We're going to talk about them in more detail later, so I'm just going to skim it. Surprisingly good month for a change. None of them are really, like, smack bang, oh my god, I can't believe they gave us stat titles. The 3 I've been playing have been Tropico 5, Tabletop Racing World Tour, and Switch Galaxy Ultra. And it's weird, like, usually I struggle to find one game that I actually want to play out of PlayStation Plus lately. I've actually gotten some enjoyment out of all of them. Tabletop Racing and Tropico I've actually been playing more than some games I went out and bought on disc.
Yeah.
And Tropico 5 is actually the first time that Joanna's spent, like, a multi-hour gaming session in front of the TV in years. So we'll get to those properly in the PlayStation Plus section of the podcast.
Shall we segue into that now and then continue further with other topics?
Yeah, that sounds like a decent idea. I mean, I'm done, by the way, with what I've been playing this month. Thank you for checking. So, PlayStation Plus this month, we got, and also to even it out and balance it, Terry is going to do the Xbox Live games for the month. So, put your pitchforks the fuck down, people. We got
I care.
On PlayStation 4, we got Tropico 5, which is sort of like SimCity, but on a tropical island, and you're a dictator. It's actually quite good. And also, I don't know how I've not really played or seen this series before if they're on their 5th entry. It's just never even been in my peripheral vision. I've never seen one of these games even on a store shelf. I don't know how they're on number 5. I don't know if is this a series that, like, has previously been only on PC and then come to PlayStation? Is it a series that has only ever been released abroad and now actually... Sort of like when we got Final Fantasy VII, that was the first Final Fantasy we really got in the UK. We didn't get 1 to 6. I don't know if it's that kind of deal where we just didn't get 1 to 4. Maybe I've just been blind to it. Let me know. If you're listening and you know the answer, then tell me, because I'm legitimately curious. Tabletop Racing World Tour. Apparently it's a sequel to a game that I've never heard of. Much like Rocket League, actually. I'd never heard of super-powered battle rocket cars, or whatever the original was called. Tabletop Racing World Tour, the elevator pitch is that it's Micro Machines in 3D, only you're behind the car, and you have options to upgrade your little toy car.
Huh.
Yeah. Again, surprisingly good. Over on the PlayStation 3, we have Bionic Commando Rearmed 2, which I just haven't played. I know it's a 2.5D side-scroller in the same vein as the NES Bionic Commando game. I also assume it follows Bionic Commando Rearmed 1, which I've not played. So thank you, PlayStation, for giving us a sequel instead of the original. Then we've got on PlayStation 3 Loco Roco Korekeko? Kokoreko? I think it's Kokoreko. Loco Roco Kokoreko. That's what we got. And that's angered a few people, because apparently that's been sitting on the PlayStation Store for ages for like £6.99. So people are like, the fuck, Sony? Over on the PlayStation Vita, and this is a place where people are really angry. Switch Galaxy Ultra. The best way I can describe it, it's a lane switcher. You use L1 and R1, and you use X to boost if you happen to have a boost. And you just switch lanes. It reminds me of...
Temple Run?
No, well, yes, but and Sonic Dash and all the other Infinite Runners. It's sort of like that, but it reminds me more of the game on Steam that I love, and it makes the tracks out of your music.
Oh, Audio Surf.
Audio Surf, thank you. Apparently there's an Audio Surf too I should check out. It feels a lot like Audio Surf, but without the music.
Weird. Yeah,
it's all preset, pre-built tracks. It's all right. Like if Joe tells me we're going out with the kids and I'm ready, but she's still faffing about, it's a good game to just turn on for 10 minutes while she sorts herself out. You know. I make myself sound like a wonderful husband.
Oh, you know what else is? I played this other game, sort of that sounds a bit like that the other day, called Amplitude. It's actually like a kind of lane switcher sort of rhythm game, and it's made by the same people that did Guitar Hero before they did Guitar Hero.
Has that got a spaceship in?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, we now officially have too many damn games in this genre. Audio Surf, Switch Galaxy Ultra, and Amplitude. 3 games in this very obscure niche genre. I think we're alright.
And Frequency, so that's 4.
And fuck me. But we can't get a Star Fox clone. That's fucking bullshit. So Switch Galaxy Ultra, it's a bit cheap, to be honest. What is funny, though, is the main character is called Vince, which reminds me of one of my indie comic artist friends, Vince Hunt. And he does a podcast as well, by the way, the Awesome Comics podcast. Feel free to give it a listen. It's
plug.
They're weekly. They actually have their shit together. They record every Sunday, and they upload every Monday. I listen to it at work. It's hilarious. They've got a great mix of personalities, and they usually have a guest from the indie comics community as well.
Yeah, stop listening to us. Listen to them.
Yeah. They've been getting some more high-profile guests as well, like Pat Mills, who's a comic legend. So, after you've finished listening to us, feel free to check them out. They're hosted over on podbean.com, which we're not hosted on because it's £10 a month, and we've not got our shit together. So, I don't know that the £10 a month would actually be well spent.
We don't even do a podcast a month anymore, so probably not.
Yeah, exactly. But hey... now that I'm done bashing us and promoting another podcast, although it is about a different subject matter, comics.
Yeah, you know the other day when you were concerned about like how you do your self-promotion and publicity?
Oh, for my indie comics in general?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't know, speaking of indie comics, I have my own indie comic series called Joe Cape, which you can purchase on my website, www.sjwebster.net. Alternatively, digital copies are available on Comixology.
Oh dear!
But you brought it up. But
don't buy my comics. Buy this other person's comics instead.
Those are my comics.
No, I know. Never mind.
Right. The final game that we got on PlayStation Plus this month was God of War: Ghost of Sparta. Ooh, but and here's where they fucked up. We got the PSP version. We did not get the God of War Collection 2 version. If we'd have gotten the God of War Collection 2 version, we'd have been able to play it on our PlayStation 3s as well. There also would have been trophy support. So a lot of people are angry about that, saying, well, for fuck's sake, you could have given us a superior version.
Yeah, wasn't the collection also available for Vita as well?
Yeah, it was, and they still gave us a PSP version.
Okay, that's a bit cheap. That's a bit of a piss take.
Yeah, a PSP game as one of our Vita entries, and it's a PSP game that's been on a HD collection for the PS3 and Vita since. And we got basically the worst version of that game. Switch Galaxy Ultra, by the way, I should mention, is cross-buy with PlayStation 4, so technically PlayStation 4 owners got 3 games this month.
Huh.
Yeah. Although we still got 6 games total, because one of them's cross-buy, you can play it on the PS4. So if you only have a PS4, it's a really good month for you. If you only have a PS3, there's really nothing here for you. And if you've only got a PlayStation Vita, you got fucked in the arse.
like in general, not just with this month of Plus.
Yeah. Tropico 5, I've been And I'm just going to go through the ones I've been playing, if that's all right. Is
Well,
that all right?
It makes sense. I mean, when I go through games with gold, I've not got an Xbox anymore, so I haven't been playing them.
Right, okay. Well, I'll keep it brief, at least. Tropico 5 is very fun. What keeps Tropico 5 fun is that there's a campaign mode. So in the campaign mode, it's not, SimCity, the last one I played, you just get fucking left to it. Here's your city. Let's hope there's no disasters. That would be terrible.
Oh, kind of like when they brought The Sims to PS2.
Yeah, well, the campaign mode is actually quite humorous. It's, originally, you're under the Crown, which is a really thinly veiled mockery of the British Empire. And the first mission is to develop yourself to a point where you can actually declare your independence from the Crown, which is quite fun. And then from there, the second mission, they give you another island, and you've got to befriend the President of the United States. So you've got to sell a lot of things, do a lot of importing and exporting, and show him that you're a tradesman. And then the third mission that I'm playing at the moment is set during the World War, so you can either be diplomatic allies with the Axis or the Allies.
Yeah.
And there's a turn timer counting down until you get invaded. And this mission is a lovely mix because you get asked to do favors. You get like, oh, our people would really love a cabaret show. Why don't you build a cabaret theatre for them to enjoy? For some reason, building a cabaret theatre delays the invasion. Apparently, the Axis looked at the fact that you built a cabaret theatre and went, he can't be that bad a guy. Let's give him an extra 6 months before we invade him.
Nice.
So you've got to try and weigh up, because the time, money, and resource you're spending to do these missions to extend that countdown is time, money, and resources you're not building up your military bases with. You're not... the time and money you spent on the cabaret show could have built another tank factory, for example.
Yeah.
So it's actually this balancing act of, let's not piss off the people because I don't want to get dethroned, and also I'd like to push that timer back a bit, but at the same time, I kind of need a new barracks. And that's as far into the game as I've gotten, but yeah, it's incredibly good. As I mentioned, my other half very rarely plays video games these days. Very, very rarely. She played a lot when we met 8 years ago. She does not play a lot now. I found her laid on the couch with the controller, playing this for hours.
Huh.
So that's a victory, as far as I'm concerned.
So, what's it like playing that type of game with a controller? Because when you described it to me, you said it's kind of like sort of theme park, theme hospital, but you're building all that stuff up.
Yeah, the control scheme actually adapts quite well. So, how they've done it is you've got your left and right stick to move around the map. So, left stick pans the camera, and the right stick zooms and rotates.
Yeah.
That's a pretty simple setup. And then for your menus, they're on the shoulder buttons.
Okay.
So R2, you hold that down, and that's your build menu. And they're all categorized into different things. So you've got like housing, commercial, so on and so forth on different tabs.
Yeah.
And you just press L1 and R1 to flick through the tabs.
Okay.
And L2 is the same, but that's all your diplomacy panels.
Yeah.
So you can check like what trade routes you have active and all that shit through there. The only thing I'd say against Tropico 5 is that there is quite a lengthy tutorial at the start, but the tutorial only takes you up to a certain point, and after that the game assumes knowledge. So I came to a point where I needed to have 3 active trade routes to meet one of the campaign objectives.
Yeah.
And it kept telling me you only have 1 ship available whenever I went into my trade things. I'm like, yeah, but I've got people asking for shit. Why don't I have more ships?
Yeah.
I actually had to Google how to get more ships. You have to build another dock. For each dock you build, you get 1 ship.
Oh, right.
But because this is a digital download game and there's no manual and the tutorial never covers it...
To be fair, it's a modern game. It probably doesn't have a manual on physical copy anyway.
True. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Some of it's a bit fucking obtuse.
It's like my Wind Waker HD copy. That hasn't got a manual in it. Like, it's got the generic Nintendo health and safety guide and all that stuff, but not a proper manual.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what the hell? This is a Nintendo game. This is a Zelda game.
I miss manuals.
I do too. And like,
I miss the smell. That's the weird thing. Not to read, just to sniff them.
See, I like the ones that were really thought out, like in the Pokemon Red and Blue, where it was like a thick thing that said Trainer's Guide and things like that, or Vault Dweller Survival Guide and Fall.
When it says
stuff
things
like
like field notes and stuff on them.
yeah, when they're really
Yeah.
clever ones.
I think one of the Uncharted games tried to replicate Nate's notebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I remember correctly, I think it might have been Ninja Gaiden 2 Sigma. It had like a comic book thing in the manual.
Oh yeah, Metal Gear Solid 3 had a comic in there with tutorials on how to do things as well. Like, it was him sneaking up on the guard and shit.
Yeah. See, I miss that kind of stuff, but I guess
I miss the artwork. You had lots of character renders and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you'd get to the page on the controls, and there'd be a picture of Mario jumping and pushing a block, and
yeah.
yeah, it was. Anyway, back on.
It's like Super Mario Maker just went the complete opposite way. It's just like, well, there's not a proper manual, but here's like a full-on art book that's included with the standard version anyway.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Back on
let's continue
topic.
like you were just saying.
Yeah. So Tropico 5 can be a bit fucking obtuse. Like, construction will just grind to a halt. And you don't... Like, I made a power plant,
Yeah.
and nowhere around it got power. And I actually had to look that up, and the reason it wasn't getting power is because no coal was available for the power plant. But I had 3 coal mines.
Huh.
And it turns out that you need a Teamster building to distribute the coal around, which I didn't know. So this is already 3 steps, but then I still wasn't getting coal to the power plant, because the Teamster building were taking it to the dock to export it for money, and not leaving any left for the power plant to use.
Yeah.
And, like, fine, if you're going to be that intricate, that's not a problem, but for fuck's sake, I was on Google every 5 minutes for this one, you know?
Yeah.
It was a bit... Outside of that, though, like, once you accept it, you're going to have to Google a few things. It's alright. Tabletop Racing World Tour, that's a lot of fun. It really is just Micro Machines in 3D. You can customize your cars, so you can upgrade like the handling, the top speed, that kind of thing. You can change the paint job. You can change the tires. So there's normal tires, which do jack shit. Drift tires, which I don't think I need to explain. Centurion tires, these are fun. They add spikes to the sides of your wheels, like Roman gladiator chariots. So you can get up alongside other racers and just straight into them.
Nice.
There's also boing tires, which allow you to jump. And you're racing on things like coffee tables or, the top of a toolkit in a garage. And you'll be racing along, like, the track will be built out of, kids' plastic car sets and stuff. Or you'll be racing around batteries and shit. There's one that's set on the top of a Yo Sushi restaurant table, so you're racing around like the conveyor belt that all the food goes round on, and you've got to dodge around bowls and spoons and shit.
I'll tell you what, if you like Micro Machine style games, I really recommend the PS2 game called Mash Fully Loaded. It's some of the most fun I've had in like the last couple of years. I wish I discovered it when it was still new.
I'll check it out at some point. I did get to play this online with my friend Emma Prevost. Helsing 920 on YouTube. By all means, go check him out. That was a really fun session. That's probably going to be our new online multiplayer game for a while.
Nice.
And Switch Galaxy Ultra, I have nothing further to say. It really is as basic as it looks. But it's a good little pick up and play fuck it game, you know? Oh, and I've been back on Spelunky. My Spelunky addiction has returned. Almost had a hell run the other day, then I died trying to get the scepter off of Set, and that will only make sense to like 0.5% of our listeners, but I came so fucking close. It was the first time I had the headdress. I actually managed to get 50,000 to get the Ankh in the jungle, died on the correct level to get inside the Moai head, got the headdress, got to set, threw a bomb on him, but then I was already in mid-air, and the scepter dropped into a pool of fucking lava, so it was impossible to get the scepter. And then while I was sort of lamenting the cruel fate of that, I got knocked into the lava by a lava man that the lava spawned. I was distraught, truly. And again, like, we have 20 listeners. I'll be amazed if one of them plays enough Spelunky to have followed that. But it was awful. So close and yet so far. Right, that's the games I've been playing.
And that's the PlayStation Plus games.
And the PlayStation Plus games. I forgot which section we were on. We are organised.
Yeah, Games with Gold. I just checked out this month's ones, which they've been out.
I am not googling it right now. I'm definitely not googling it.
They've been out for a little while now, like as in this month of Games with Gold has been, this month for a while. So I think we should be getting some new ones soon. So this is kind of outdated info, I guess. But so I'll just speak brief. Sunset Overdrive. That's a game that I've really been wanting to play for a while. I don't have an Xbox One. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's one of those games that gets ported over to Windows 10 with that UWP thing that Microsoft are doing. I think I talked to you a bit about that, Sam, where basically it's like this kind of system they've been developing where it makes it a lot easier to port Xbox One games directly over to PC. Like, it makes the porting process just a lot easier for developers. So a lot of games.
Easier or lazier?
Huh?
Easier or lazier?
Well, it depends on your perspective, really. That's a case of opinion. But, like, some could make the argument, well, without that, maybe these games wouldn't get ported. On the other hand, it could lead to lazy ports that don't work properly. It's had some issues so far, like Rise of the Tomb Raider. There's a good PC version on Steam. There's a bad PC version on the Windows App Store. And that version was ported through the UWP, whereas the Steam version was ported with the old classic methods. So that kind of thing is a bit of a problem. However, there's a beta version of Forza 6 that actually runs really well, so I think they're working on improving it. But Sunset Overdrive is actually made by Insomniac.
Oh, alright.
Yeah, so,
that's why there's a Sunset Overdrive gun in the new Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, that'll make sense. So, yeah, so if it comes to PC, and if by some miracle it comes to PS4, then I think either way, I think that'll be one I think you might enjoy, Sam.
Okay.
Defense Grid 2, as the name suggests, it's a tower defense game. Like I said a moment ago, I don't have an Xbox anymore, and so I've never had an Xbox One, so I've not really played any of these. And there's another one called Costume Quest 2, which, looking at the artwork of it, like, when I first heard the title, I thought, is this one of those things for those avatars that are me rip-offs? But it looks like its own standalone thing. It looks like a kind of mini-game.
Yeah, it looks like the kind of thing that used to get thrown up on Xbox Live Arcade all the time. In fact, I think it is a sequel to an Xbox Live Arcade game.
Probably. Speaking of Live Arcade games, on the 360 side, there's Peggle.
Oh, bastard.
And there's Grid 2, which, if you're into your racing games, Grid 2 is a good one. And to be honest, if you're into your racing games, you probably already have played Grid 2 and know that it's good. Or maybe you don't like it. I don't know. Personal preference.
And if you're not into racing games, not a bad place to start.
Yeah, it's one of the Codemasters
saved you there.
Yeah, but I mean, like, Games with Gold has actually been pretty good over a lot of the months. Like, at one point when I did have my 360, I got Sleeping Dogs on it when it still wasn't that old, so that was a pretty good month. It also had Ass Creed 4 Black Flag.
Okay.
There's 1 month where Rayman Legends was still relatively new, and that came to Xbox One. So
yeah, but what I find is PlayStation Plus, bear in mind, has been going for years.
Yeah.
And PlayStation Plus started really, really, really strong, and then once they got up to a certain user base, they got complacent. Games with Gold, people are already taking bets as to when it's going to start slipping. Some argue that it already has.
Yeah.
There's only one way these things are going to go. It's like with what I've noticed with loot crates and stuff. You look at when they launched an anime one recently called Loot Anime, and I've been watching unboxing videos of them. and I don't know why, they're really addictive to watch. You can binge watch 6 months worth of unboxing videos. And when they launch one, of course, the first one is always really, really good. But then as the months go on, you sort of see the quality dip, and then suddenly they do a really, really good one again, and then it starts trickling down. And then another really, really good one, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, one thing I will say in favour of games with gold, though, is, for one, unlike PlayStation Plus, if your subscription ends, you still keep the game. It's for keeps once you've got it, so that's a bonus. And another thing as well is all of the 360 games that are coming to games with gold are being made compatible for Xbox One as well. So if you don't have a 360 and only have an Xbox One, you get like 5 games this month, for instance.
Okay, so my ripping into it and your defense of it means that we are now officially more balanced than the BBC.
The BBC are not balanced. Well, I won't get into that.
That's the joke.
Oh.
We are officially more balanced than the BBC.
That's not really a joke. That's kind of accurate. The BBC aren't balanced. We are.
Yeah, that was... Never mind. You're going to have people commenting now saying, that was a joke, Terry.
Yeah.
Actually, Kasharago Lupacillo, please. Just, I want to see that now.
If it'll make him happy, just do it. Actually, no, don't feed his ego.
I know something that's made both of us happy.
What?
Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 trailer.
Oh my god, I can't wait.
I can wait.
Really?
I waited for the first one.
See, the first one I waited for, like, for a while, and then I played it, and I got hooked on it, and I put about 50 hours into it, and I basically did everything I could on it. I mean, there's still some things I can unlock, but I have to deal with RNG bullshit, so I'm just like, nah, stop that.
So Xenoverse was a game you picked it up, played the shit out of it, and then what, just moved on from?
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, like, once you've done all the story, and once you've played all the extra side quests, there's not really that much to do apart from just going back to redo them to try and get a better score and to get the final sort of mission, which again is RNG based, so it's based on luck whether you get that, same as how you unlock a lot of items. And for me, that just kind of put me off because, like, I spent some time trying to get some of the items I really cared about, but I'm not going to spend enough time to 100% it because I could spend absolute years on that and never get every single item just because of that RNG factor, because it's not based on challenge, and that's a big flaw. I think any game that does that is just wrong.
I redid the same mission about 50-odd times wanting a specific piece of clothing, and it just never dropped.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think there was enough to do in that game to not warrant putting in RNG to artificially increase the length.
Well, my friend Eric, aka Salieri on YouTube, if you want to go look him up, actually bought me the game as a present on Steam, so thank you very much to Eric for that, so that we could play online together. Now, he had 2 copies of the clothing item that wouldn't drop for me, and he went to the trading post to go trade it with me. Turns out it is not a tradable item. So there were even restrictions on that. So you couldn't even be like, hey, you've got 2. You're not doing anything with 2. How about sending me 1? Yeah, sure. Oh, wait, no, I can't. Additionally, I said he bought it primarily so that we could play multiplayer together. Every time we tried, it just did not work. There was lag. We dropped out. There were times when it wouldn't connect. Now, Xenoverse is the only game in my Steam library that I have these problems with. Even though I know my connection isn't the best, I can play Grand Theft Auto 5 with you guys, Payday 2 with absolutely any of my friends who own Payday 2. There's no other game on my Steam list that gives me these problems.
Yeah, just to back up your point, I'm on a 70 meg fiber optic connection, and I have problems with that game online. So my connection is really, really good. No problem with any other games, just like with yours, and I still have problems with Xenoverse.
Yeah, so if they do Xenoverse 2 right, they've got to fucking fix that.
Yeah, although, like, we can't vouch for what the console servers were like, but then it's very rare that a console game server is going to be better than PC versions.
I guess it all depends, doesn't it? I mean, when we're looking at Xenoverse, I did the same thing you did. I put a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
Got annoyed with the RNG, and then I just stopped after the story. Like, the DLC has gone on sale a couple of times, and I've just had no incentive to buy it. Partly because a lot of the DLC, apart from a couple of missions, you get extra characters. But the point of Xenoverse is that you create your own time patroller, your own fan character. So walking through any of the lobbies is like walking through fucking DeviantArt.
It really is. Well, except less suggestive.
So you spend all that time working on leveling up, your character. So why would you then have incentive to play as anybody else? You've got all these characters, and because there's not like a local competitive mode or an arcade mode or anything like that.
I think there is a 2-player local mode.
Is there?
I'm pretty sure there is. Citation needed, but I'm pretty sure there is.
At any rate, I have yet to find an incentive to actually use any character outside of my custom created character.
Yeah.
Which is kind of bad.
I know what you mean. I mean, there was a point where me and Adam had a quick play on it, like on one of the few times when the servers were actually working okay, because there is a rare occasion where they do work okay. But
right, just like this split where you're like, haha, we must be the only people on.
Pretty much, yeah. So, we found the character roster useful for that, just because if we're doing back-to-back matches against each other, having our custom character every time is just going to get boring. Or if one of us has got like a super powerful leveled up character, and the other one's still in the early stages of the game at level 10 or 20 or something, then it's suitable for that.
Okay.
So
they need to rebalance it anyway, because some of the attacks are just fucking broken.
Oh god,
here's an attack that homes in, takes up the entire screen, and also knocks off 2/3 of your health bar. Oh, and by the time you've recovered from it, I can charge up enough ki to just do it again.
Yeah. In regards to what you're saying about character customization, I want to see more customization options as well. I don't think there was that much.
No, the customization options were basically the same as the options in the Dragon Ball Online MMO that I got a Korean social security number to break into.
Nice.
There's actually an English language fan server for that now, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I'll show it to you after the show.
But yeah, so the races, let's see, we had humans, male and female, Saiyan, male and female.
Oh, you may as well merge those into one. Because no one picked fucking human.
Exactly. Human was...
Who goes into fucking Dragon Ball Online and goes, I want to be Krillin? Or Yamcha?
I was going to say, I'd rather be Krillin than Yamcha.
True. At least Krillin kept trying.
Exactly. To be fair, Krillin was pretty badass.
Yeah, I mean, Tien is above Yamcha. Tien at least turned up and did something useful against Cell.
Oh, Tien is the most badass human of them all, I think.
And I think Krillin could take him. These days.
I don't know. In the Boo saga, I mean, he still tried then.
I guess Tien's never stopped training, whereas Krillin's settled down, so exactly. I retract my statement. Tien would probably win.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah.
But,
back on track.
Yeah, so, we have human, we have Saiyan, we had Boo male and female, which was really freaking creepy.
Frieza race.
Yeah, Frieza race, just the one gender, and Namekian, just the one gender.
Well, Namekians are confirmed asexual.
Yeah, exactly.
There are no female Namekians, There are no male Namekians, technically.
Yeah, just
Namekians.
Yeah,
They're like legendary Pokemon. They don't have genders.
Pretty much. So, with more races, I don't know.
Hang on. Do you think Piccolo's a shiny?
Well, I think there was one episode where he did this power up where his aura was kind of golden and shiny.
Yeah.
And not like golden like yellow Super Saiyan shiny, but actually golden.
Well, you've got Piccolo, Kami, and Nail all sharing one body.
Yeah. Although that's still not as crazy as. Did you ever read Dragon Ball Multiverse? I know it was a fan work, but did you read it?
Yeah, one of the entrants was every Namekian on the planet combined into one body.
I think they just called him Grand Namekian or something.
Something like that.
And I was just like, damn, I wanna see that guy like in an alternate reality timeline, like in Xenoverse 2.
Oh, speaking of Dragon Ball games, have you seen the news on Kanzenshu.com about the new 3DS RPG that's coming out in Japan soon?
No, I haven't.
It's all around fusion.
Oh.
Yeah.
When you say RPG, is it going to play like the Legacy of Goku games from what you've seen?
From what I've seen, no.
All right.
No, it's not top-down, for starters. It's got a very chibi style to the art, but some of the promotional material is for things like fusions between Goku and Broly, Piccolo and Krillin, that kind of thing.
Oh, that'll be funny.
But there was a Piccolo-Krillin fusion drawn before by Toriyama, because when they were doing Naboo Saga in the manga, Shonen Jump actually did a fusion competition where people sent in stuff, and a few of them won and got redrawn by Toriyama and then appeared in Shonen Jump. That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
There were a few good ones in there. I'm just seeing if I can find the article for you on this fusion game on Kanzenshu, just so I can send it over to you.
One thing as well I want to mention in regards to like alternate reality is like another thing I found awesome in Multiverse is the universe where Goku never actually went to Earth, but the Saiyans still visited anyway. So Krillin basically ends up taking up the main role, like taking on the Saiyans, getting trained by King Kai and learning the Kaioken.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and like there's one match he has where he's dressed up all like Turtle Hermit style, like Master Roshi with like the facial hair and everything, and he does the Kaioken.
Oh wait, I've
stuff.
seen this.
Huh?
I read that far.
Yeah, and it was, and I was just like, wow, that is actually pretty awesome. Like, I really want to see a version of that Krillin at some point. Like, and he was proper angry, like chip on his shoulder, just like I hate you, Saiyans, all that kind of thing. Like, he was intense.
Wow. Have you got I just sent you one of the news articles about Dragon Ball Fusions. Has that come through?
So that's what they're calling the game then, Dragon Ball Fusions?
Yeah, Dragon Ball Fusions on the Nintendo 3DS. And it's weird, it's just all about what would happen if this person mixed with this person. It's gonna actually give us official versions of what was previously, fan-only stuff.
Oh god, remember in Budokai 3 where you could fuse Goku and Mr. Satan?
Yes.
And there was two versions as well. There was the one that you saw Goku fantasize about in the series, and then there was another one that looked even derpier with Goku's hair.
Yeah, I spent a lot of hours on that game. But no, this is kind of cool because it's not the first time that fan-only characters have become real characters. The Dragon Ball Heroes arcade game, which is only in Japan, it's basically you've got collectible cards and you scan the collectible cards and that's your fighter.
Yeah.
But there are official cards for characters like Super Saiyan 4 Gohan and Super Saiyan 4 Broly.
Nice.
Yeah, so there are actually official character renders and everything for these guys. Dragon Ball Heroes as a whole tends to reuse a lot of the Budokai models.
Okay.
Which is kind of weird, but yeah, you should look it up sometime because it's quite interesting just to see all these things that previously have only been in like hoaxes and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and fanfiction and Dragon Ball AF stuff.
Yeah, to actually see legit versions exist is quite cool.
I'm just going to apologise to everyone in advance if we go on too long about Dragon Ball stuff. We tend to do that. There was one evening where we were talking about whether the Dragon Ball movies that aren't canon could fit into the canon, and that conversation went on for 2 hours. And if we'd have recorded it, we'd have uploaded it as a podcast, possibly, like as a standalone thing.
Yeah, but Dragon Ball Fusions also gives us a glimpse into what the races might be in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Because, and I've just sent you a link to this as well, Dragon Ball Fusions, you create your own playable character, much like you do in Xenoverse.
Oh, yeah.
And you'll notice on that link I've sent, there are other races on there which don't appear in Xenoverse 1.
Yeah.
Namely, there's a race that's just called aliens, which is a bit broad, and there's a race called Otherworlders, and the Otherworlders look like the Kais.
Oh, okay.
So King Kai, Supreme Kai, etc. So that could be interesting if they bring this over, follow suit and bring this over into Xenoverse 2. We could see it expanded to include generic aliens and the Kais.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, one race I would be interested to see is I'm going to be careful about spoilers with this. It's a Dragon Ball Super character. In the fan sub I've been reading, he's called Hit. I don't know if that's
I think we're watching the same sub.
Yeah. So, again, I won't say when he appears or what his role is, but for anyone who's watched Super, you'll know who I mean. I think he'd be a really interesting one to play as, and I think he'd have a really interesting moveset as well. So,
he's purple, and his face looks like a fusion between Piccolo and Final Form Frieza.
That's a good point, actually.
Well, that's his face. It's Piccolo, Final Form Frieza. Mash them together, make it purple.
I thought he looked a bit like something familiar.
There you go. Trust the artist to tell you this is what that guy is.
Additionally, I'd want to see Android races as well, like a Cell version, and I don't know, maybe if there was, maybe enhance the human race by giving the option of like Android human, like Android 17, 18 sort of style.
You see, I disagree on that.
Oh.
And the reason I disagree, bear with me. Alright, bear with me.
No, I'm listening.
The reason that I disagree is because there are already two races that, at a glance, are indistinguishable from one another. Now, the reason that you have races that are visually different in video games is so that when you get into a match with one, you know what race they are, and you can, straight away, before you've done anything, you already know what the possibilities for the build are.
Yeah.
Now, with Saiyans and humans, you can't tell those apart at a glance. So you go into a match against a random online, and okay, there's not a lot of variance between the races anyway, but you can't reasonably tell at a glance what to expect, like you can with, Namekians, Frieza race, Boo, etc. So that actually, from a tactical perspective, unbalances the game by giving both Saiyans and humans an unfair disadvantage in that you can't... It increases the list of possibilities. You can't make that judgment as easily when you go up against a player using one of those races. So if anything, I would like to see the human race culled and just have the Saiyan race, because A, no one wanted to be humans, and B, that then means every race is visually distinct from one another.
Okay, well, okay, that's a good point. Okay, let me change my Android human answer to Android 19 style Android.
How is that any better?
Well, for one, he has a distinguishable appearance. For another, he has different moves to the human androids. He has that absorption ability, that kind of thing as well, so there's that. And so that basically covers all of your flaws of that.
Okay.
And I'd still like to see Android Cell because, again, distinguishable moves, distinguishable appearance.
Okay. Sure. Why not?
Well, what's the problem with them?
No, there isn't a problem. Just, if that's what you want to do it.
Well,
No, I don't. The thing is, I doubt the developers of Xenoverse 2 are sat listening to us going, well, we brought in a translator so that we could understand what they're saying.
Well, see, funnily enough, considering this is a podcast, I expected a bit more discussion and, okay.
Well, it's... You've said it would be visually distinct because for those who aren't Dragon Ball familiar, Android 19 is big, fat, and white. We're talking like, paint the wall white, not white as in Caucasian.
Yeah, like a mannequin.
Like a mannequin, thank you, or a clown.
Yeah.
Which, considering how seriously he was taken and how quickly he got his fucking ass kicked, a clown. I just...
Yeah,
the reason I'm like,
Calcium.
oh, okay, is because I have no desire to actually see it. If they put them in the game, I wouldn't use them. I'd have to fight them on occasion, but I sure shit wouldn't use them.
I don't know. I just like to see more options added. I think there's a lot of areas where they could explore. Like, I'd want to see Kai's as well.
Well, Kai's is a possibility. We've covered
Yeah,
that.
and destruction gods.
Yeah, all right. I guess that could come under Kai, sort of. I know. Are Kai's and Gods of Destruction different? Probably.
I'd say they're very different.
Yeah. Okay,
Well,
we seriously need to get off Dragon Ball because we're alienating even Kasharagai and Lupacilla at this
okay,
point.
okay. Brief summary: more character customization options. Fix the online. For the love of God, with the Frieza races, give them customizable transformations.
Oh, that'd be nice.
Yeah, and to be honest, with the margin demons as well, like you have to be the female to be the skinny type, or the male to be the fat type. It's really weird.
Doesn't quite sit right, does it?
Yeah. With the character roster, I know if we're doing single player, it's not going to be useful for much, but if you're doing multiplayer, it's still quite handy. So again, fix the servers, and with that, stop putting in so many cheap character reskins. We know what you're doing. We know it's lazy.
No, Terry.
You're
We talked about character reskins for like half an hour through text messages.
And
if we go there on voice chat, I dread to think how long we'll be on it.
I agree with your points that some reskins are necessary because Goku's fighting style changes throughout the series, as does Gohan's, that kind of thing. But when it's things like you have 3 separate characters, first form Frieza, final form Frieza, 100% final form Frieza, as 3 separate characters, that is lazy as shit as far as I'm concerned. That should be transformations.
I agree, but I know how long we spent talking about it the other day.
That's right.
I'm just
That's
thinking
why I
on air.
that very apt point. That's why I summarised it at that very apt point.
Okay, fair enough.
And what was the other thing? Get rid of RNG, like we said. Make it based on challenge, not luck. Luck-based gameplay is bullshit. And stop gating things off until you're like a super high level. Like the Elder Kai unlockability, you have to be level 93. And by that point, because there's no New Game Plus mode, you're not really going to do much with that.
No, you're not going to use it on anything. That's fair.
Plus, apparently, power consumption is worse than Super Saiyan 3 for the power-up you get. So apparently it's not even worth it. So again, make your features a bit better.
Okay.
Oh boy, me and Sam can really talk about Dragon Ball, huh? Catch us over on part 2 where we'll continue this podcast where we talk about the Arkham Remastered Collection, Battlefield 1, the Steam sales coming up, the Final Fantasy X and X-2 Remaster, and all of the fan questions that we're covering.